Good morning, everyone. I'm going to call this Works Committee meeting to order, and I'll have Sarah do the roll call. Go ahead, Sarah.
It's just an electronic roll call, and it is now open.
We push red, don't we? All right. Now, are there any disclosures of interest? Seeing and hearing none. So let's jump right down to 5.1. Mr. Presta, do you want to introduce this one?
Yes, thank you. Through the chair. Today we're going to be presenting the 2023 business plan and budget for the Works Department. As you know, the Works Department is responsible for large public infrastructure services that serve our residents. Each director from our three branches will be presenting waste management services, transportation and field services, and corporate infrastructure. We'll lead off with Nicole Pincombe from the Finance Department.
Thank you, and good morning, Chair Barton and members of the Works Committee. I appreciate the opportunity this morning just to provide some introductory comments on the Works budget before you today. So I'd like to start by thanking Jenny and Christine and Gio and Ramesh and their teams for their dedication and collaboration in working with the budget team on the budget before you this morning. So the budget is aligned with the region's 5% guideline and reflects the significant inflationary pressures that are facing the Works Department, as well as advancing the goals of the region's strategic plan. The budget, once deliberated on by the Works Committee, will be advanced to the Finance and Administration Committee meeting on March the 21st and then on to Regional Council on March the 29th. I'll just turn it over to Gio now. Thank you.
All right. So we are going into transition. So 2024 is a transition year for us, where extended producer responsibility takes responsibility for the blue box, and that will have economic impacts to the region. And the organics interim solution should be kicking in that year. That includes the enhanced green bin and additional costs there. So this year's budget is focused in on a few specific areas. The majority of our activity for this year will be communication plans, so that we can communicate to the public of what's happening as far as these changes, and trying to establish and negotiating with the commercial entities what our budget will be for 2024 and what our responsibilities will be. You've already been made aware that services in the BIA will stop with the transition, and that's part of our activity, is to figure out how we can continue to provide the services as necessary. So we do have some fairly exciting things happening this year, or getting ready this year, and then happening next year. So we have just awarded the contract for Ajax and Pickering for the collection. And one of the things in that contract is that we are asking them to start using natural gas fuel vehicles. This will position them to be able to use renewable natural gas, but as I was told by Peter, they've ordered the vehicles, and when this contract kicks in next year, we will see natural gas vehicles collecting garbage in Ajax and Pickering. In addition to that, we have given them a task of looking at the non-service multi-res developments and to investigate how they can, in fact, provide a service for the collection of materials to those multi-res areas. So we'll be waiting for them to get back to us on what their proposals are. They can come back with things like smaller trucks so that they don't need the area on the roads or different storage solutions. But again, it's part of that contract and it's to make things better. One of the other, this is an exciting project and I find this to be fascinating, is that one of our biggest problems is that a lot of our climate change, so our methane gas, which is about 26 times the potency of a carbon dioxide gas for climate change, is seeping out of our landfills. And it's coming through the cracks. So it's actually, the garbage is decomposing in the landfill, and the gas is then migrating to the atmosphere. And that creates a lot of greenhouse gases. So one of the things that we have started, and we did started last year, was looking at the cover. So we intend to look at the cover for the landfill, whereby you introduce a very organic substance that has a very good habitat for bacteria. And then when that methane gas migrates through that media, it will be converted from methane to CO2, which is still a greenhouse gas, but much less potent than methane. So it is right now, we have spoken to the ministry. We have the go-ahead to do the pilot at the Oshawa landfill. That is scheduled to go this year. If this is successful, this will be a big part of our getting to zero discharge for climate change gases. So we're looking to launch that. We've spent a lot of time with our education programs and the schools to get more curriculum activities and more curriculum tied material. We've upgraded our website, and we are ready to launch that. So those are the improvements that we see happening or being prepared this year. And it's going to really put us in a good place as we move forward. We continue to provide a service. You can see that the waste management facilities are extremely busy and continue to be very busy. We've been focusing in on the Oshawa waste management facility, getting the vehicles off the road. We do a daily sweep for nails and things, so we're trying to make that a better facility. And then in 2023, this year, we have a project whereby we are looking to design a better flow and provide some better materials and better service at the Oshawa waste management facility. That will be a multi-year program, and we are also looking at Scugog and Brock. The transition to 311, I'm happy to say it's happening this weekend, and that come Monday, the waste staff will be monitoring the 311 to make sure we don't drop any calls or any secondary follow-up. So that right now appears to be a success, and we'll see how that goes next week. We do still get quite a few inquiries, and then come Monday, a lot of these will migrate over to 311. It really is a question of what inquiries will be handled by the waste staff because of contractual relationships or other factors. And it was a challenging year, but we did manage to collect, process, and dispose of our material, even though there were some rough patches there with the leaf and yard waste. For 2023, we believe that's been corrected, and we shouldn't see the same problems. So our budget, unfortunately, has gone up. Post-COVID has been particularly harsh on the waste industry in that we are big users of fuel, in that we have, we'll say, the companies that we use are very efficient, but they have trouble retaining personnel. And that was very evident in the post-COVID. Now they've had to increase their remuneration to keep the staff. The cost of fuel has gone up significantly. And we've had to actually rebid a couple of the contracts, which has resulted in a $9 million increase to our base without any increase in service. We don't see that reversing itself in the future as we have to retender these contracts to continue our service. We think that the base will keep going up. Unfortunate, but we are we really can't cut any services because these are necessary services, and there's not a lot of discretion in how we spend it. One of the things I'd like to bring to your attention is the revenue funding. There are two items there that we will not see following the transition of the extended producer responsibilities. Industry funding, which is close to about $7-8 million, and then the revenues from materials that are collected, and that's another $3-4 million. That will go away, but what will go away with it is the cost of collection and processing of the blue box. So we're working with finance. We believe that will be a net savings. Hard to say right now. There's a lot of variables, but that's one of the things that we'll be working on this year is how we negotiate with the CMO. So that's the industry that will be taking over our facilities and our services next year. Okay, so this year we'll be trying to get some baseline and establish where we're actually going into the future. So this is what I was speaking to with regards to the post-COVID world. It is not pretty. It's not going to actually get any better. All these things here, payroll, fuel, inflationary pressures, insurance, you read the news, it's just going up. There doesn't seem to be any evidence that this is coming down. And it seems to be stabilizing at that higher plateau. So you can see that when we've rebid some of our contracts, they've come back with increases. And this is a competitive process. Everybody's in the same boat of 15 to 50%. That's a tough pill to swallow. But that's the way it is now as we move forward. And we have to prepare for that. Next slide, please. Oh, sorry, I'm doing this. Some of our pressures as we move forward in our activities. We have committed $1 million is coming out of our reserves to do the studies needed to actually make the improvements to the Oshawa Waste Management Facility. We believe that that's the right place to put the money because right now the diversion rate at those facilities are about 20%, and we'd like to get that up to about 40%. So we have to make some changes there and introduce some other programs. The other item there is the operating costs at the DYC. That is a contractual formula escalation. So as an example, the cost per ton to process material at the DYC was $124 per ton. This year it's $134. So that's a significant increase. And that results in that $1 million increase to our budget. And I'll turn it over to Ramesh.
Good morning. Ramesh Jagannathan here. I'm here to happy to present the proposed budget for roads and infrastructure, which basically includes roads, bridges, traffic signals, our depots, and all the facilities we maintain. In terms of 2022 accomplishments on service improvements, we completed rehabs of about 22 kilometers of regional roads, which also included installation of wider paved shoulders to promote a safer cycling environment. We did a lot of growth-related road widenings, including Simcoe from Conlin to Winchester, Westney north of Roslyn to Taunton, and Brock Street from Manning to Roslyn. We advanced the regional cycling plan by adding another 21 kilometers of new cycling facilities in the form of paved shoulders and multi-use paths. We took a lot of pride in completing the rehab of Road 18, which was a pilot project using recycled glass and plastics for road reconstruction. We also deployed an enterprise maintenance management system. So as a result, we are able to now get close to real-time information on all our maintenance activities in the areas of road maintenance, traffic, facilities, and so on. On service improvements, we acquired lands for several road projects, including BRT. We commenced construction of phase 1 of the workplace modernization in this building. We're quite anxiously waiting to occupy the 5th floor works department by the spring of this year. We commenced the installation of 36 charging stations at regional facilities. We also increased our community capacity and safety in multiple areas by constructing the Oshawa Microhomes pilot, which saw occupancy in early 22. We commenced construction of many facilities, including the Beaverton supportive housing in fall of 22, expected to be occupied in 2023. We advanced the paramedic station and training facility in Seaton and the DRPS Clarington Phase 2 project. We acquired, as I said, a number of properties to advance regional strategic initiatives and projects, including renewing leases for a couple of major projects, one being 27 Station Street in Ajax for the operation of an emergency warming center and shelter for residents experiencing homelessness. We renewed spaces to replace DRPS's facility in Clarington that was impacted by a fire incident. As usual, we operated over about 650 traffic signals across the regional and local road network, including MTO signals, with getting close to 200 accessible pedestrian signals. We responded to 57 winter storms, including 7 that seemed to feel like what we had last weekend. Vision Zero 2022, number of accomplishments. We focused on a lot of intersection and pedestrian improvements. Enforcement, we continued with 8 fixed cameras and 4 mobile cameras rotated around like close to 25 community safety and school zones. Speed cameras, like a total of 43,000 fines were issued. Very notable increase in speed limit compliance, so we can officially declare the program as a success in terms of keeping speeds down. Red light cameras, we continued the same 12 fixed locations, about 2,500 fines issued. We need a little more time to assess the benefits, especially given the COVID pandemic impacts on traffic volumes and so on. We had a number of education campaigns and outreach programs, in partnership with local municipalities, DRPS, and health departments and our communication staff. As I think we are in year 4 of the Vision Zero program. Collisions have come down. Not sure if we can take all the credit in spite of the significant Vision Zero countermeasures we've implemented because of the fluctuations in traffic volumes we saw through the pandemic. But to the extent we saw things like speeds come down, aggressive driving coming down, I think we played a big role in keeping collisions under control. We know the traffic volumes are coming back to pre-COVID conditions, which I suppose is good from an economic growth perspective, but we are anxiously waiting to see what it might do on the collision trends. We bagged a number of awards in 2022, a couple of awards for the Beaverton Supportive Housing Project, including a Canadian Architect Award of Excellence and World Architecture News Gold Award. We continue to get awards for our Rover Artificial Intelligence tool, which is a technology that we now use to detect and proactively manage potholes. And we also got TAC and OPW awards for the Victoria Street reconstruction and widening project. The total 2023 proposed expenditures for the roads and infrastructure programs is $265 million in total. 80%, so significant majorities for capital projects such as facilities and roads and rehabs and so on. 20% of this financing is from property taxes. Close to 43% is from various reserve funds, including development charges and so on. And 22% almost is from the Infrastructure Canada Investing Program, ICIP, which is a significant contribution to our BRT aspirations. After offsetting some of the budget pressures through line-by-line reviews, the proposed budget includes a base budget increase. Base budget meaning, in a sense, to operate what we operated in 2022 into 2023. The impact is about $2.19 million. That includes about $1 million for annualizing the cost of 2022 positions and the Vision Zero program, because number of Vision Zero countermeasures such as automated speed enforcement, started halfway through the year. They'll all be annualized. And there's another $1.2 million in inflation impacts for fuel, utilities, materials, and services, similar to what Geo described for waste management. As strategic highlights, we have about $190 million for capital roads and infrastructure projects. I'll go through some highlighting projects. About $16 million, which is the roads or GT general tax portion of work planned for the expansion of the Ajax depot and a future new Oshawa and Sunderland maintenance depots. Is about $6 million for the modernization and energy retrofit of 101 Consumers Drive facility, and about $1.7 million for Durham Vision Zero, including red light camera and automated speed enforcement, part of which comes from our Vision Zero reserve fund that was established a few years ago. So I'll go through some key road projects, but just to describe the framework here, 2017 we completed the Transportation Master Plan, which laid out the high level priorities in terms of road expansions, rehabs, intersections that needed to be modified for road safety and capacity and so on. All the foundation document to the TMP is the strategic plan. Our next update we are expecting to happen in the 23-24 timeframe. 24-25 timeframe. So using those projects with financing that's available in the combination of external funding, DCs and general levies and so on, and a risk assessment, what we have in front of you today is a proposed 2023 program for approval and a 2024 to 2032 forecast for information. So I've got about 17 projects. The first slide I may go into a little more detail just to help navigate the remaining 16 slides. The first project here that you're seeing is Road 1 from north of Uxbridge Pickering Town Line to north of Webb Road. The total estimated cost is $3.5 million. That's the third line of the table. It's not on the regional cycling plan. A project that's not on the regional cycling plan automatically gets a wider paved shoulder, although it's not a cycling network, which is a good asset management practice as well, provides a little more safety for cyclists. The project driver, this is all about rehabilitating the road because the pavement condition index is really poor here. The status is we've already tendered it, so it should be starting hopefully in April-May timeframe, subject to approval today, of course. And so anticipated construction year is 2023. When it says 2023, it's a single year, so we are expecting to complete it this year, and not really a lot to coordinate with adjacent projects. So that's just a navigation as to how the next 16 slides are going to look like. The next one is Highway 2 on Newtonville Road in Clarington. This is really a safety project, a small-scale project, a conversion of a two-way stop sign to a four-way stop sign. The next one on the list is Simcoe Street from Olive Avenue to north of John Street. This also includes modifications, minor modifications to Simcoe and John, I've heard of this project like at Simcoe and John being in bad shape, like in terms of pavement condition for many years. So I'm glad we are going to get to that now. It's being done in conjunction with the water sewer project. The next one is Road 13. This is part of a 4-phased project that goes from Lake Ridge to Highway 12. When completed, this is going to be a significant alternative route to Regional Road 10, or I think it's called River Street, that goes through Sunderland. So it's a project that's been waited for long. This phase is like phase 2 or phase 1B, I should say, followed by 2A and 2B in later years. Thixon Road from Wentworth to CN Rail, there'll be reconstruction and widening the road to 4 lanes. It is purely growth related for road capacity. There are 2 projects on Concession Road 7, one from Road 11 to north of Ashworth Road, which is a pavement rehabilitation, will be combined with the next one, which is from Foster Drive to Leaskdale. This is going to be delivered as a single tender in 23-24. Taunton from east of Town Line to west of Enfield Road. It's a road rehabilitation project again. We got Grandview Street in Oshawa from 407 to Columbus Road, and Columbus Road as part of the same tender from Grandview to Town Line Road. It's again a pavement condition rehabilitation, but also it has some horizontal and vertical alignment challenges which will be addressed minimally though as part of the project. Taunton and Anderson is not far from here. It's in Whitby. It's been a long-awaited intersection modifications as well. We're getting close to the project. We're still waiting for some utilities to be relocated and permitting to be acquired. This will be essentially making sure that Anderson and Taunton will have right turn lanes on all 4 quadrants, as well as a westbound right turn lane going into Sinclair and going into the DRPS facility. Fairwell from Harbor to Blue Street is another rehab project. Also, there's active transportation in terms of sidewalk and, cycling facilities. Olive Avenue from Simcoe to Drew Street, that's another rehab project. The main driver there is water sewer. Obviously, when we do water sewer, we're getting the improvement to a pavement condition as well. Winchester from Baldwin to Anderson, that's in Brooklyn, I suppose east of Brooklyn, is as well a long-awaited project. It's going to be a very challenging project in a narrow corridor. We are in active discussions with the town of Whitby staff in terms of how do we detour traffic around Winchester Road, given that we cannot maintain two directions in traffic. So likely it's the westbound traffic they'll need to divert somewhere. We are also in discussions with MTO to see if there's any creativity in being able to allow a detour onto 407 between 2 interchanges. Wishfully, 407 MTO would waive those revenues, or we could pay the revenues. It's in early discussions. We are in I'm meeting with my counterpart at MTO to see if that's even something that they would entertain. Taunton and Bowmanville, that's roundabout. Roundabouts, as you know, are a significant safety and Vision Zero countermeasures. They without doubt improve road safety, especially the most serious injury and fatal head-on collisions. Zephyr Road and Uxbridge from Concession 3 to 4, another road rehab. It's on the cycling network, so we'll get a paved shoulder. Liberty Street has been also long waited. It's a roundabout at Liberty and Concession 3. It also will include a new signal at Freeland Avenue and Bonds Avenue. We hope to get into some pre-construction works actively on this corridor in 2023 to start construction next year. Victoria Street from South Blair to Thixon. This is, as you know, a major realignment, a significant project for the region that would remove all the sightline restrictions. So that's the end of the 17 projects. Obviously, in the forecast, we have about over 200 projects. I just highlighted about 17 of them. And then we've got some bridge replacements and rehabs, 5 replacements and 2 rehabs to do in as part of the 2023 proposed budget. On the 5 replacements, the first 4 are timber structures. There are only 4 timber structures in the region which badly need replacements due to their poor bridge condition index, like PCI. We have BCI for bridges. We have also like 2 rehab projects, one on the Beaverton Bridge, which I've recently talked to Brock Township, likely to happen in late 23, the majority of work in 24. And we have preparatory and coordination activities, about $1.8 million to advance all our future bridge replacements, including any coordination and partnership opportunities with Metrolinx as they advance the structural modifications for the Bowmanville extension. 2023 traffic program is about $8.3 million, includes $2.8 million for signal installations, about 8 or 9 signals. Signal modernization of $1.7 million. That's to modernize our controller cabinets, increase the number of countdown pedestrian signals, and so on. The rest is self-explanatory, including Vision Zero. You got our UPS installation program. All our new signals now have UPS and APS, but we also have to do retrofits, so we are doing that annually. So that's the traffic program. Signals, like I said, $2.8 million. It has some, some popular signal locations, including the likes of Baldwin and Cannery that we are doing in partnership with town staff, town of Whitby. A lot of safety initiatives in this budget, $3.3 million, including automated speed enforcement cameras. We're looking at 4 additional, 2 mobiles and 2 fixed. A lot of leading pedestrian intervals, which seem to be getting a lot of positive reception, at least from pedestrians, if not motorists. But it's too early. We just started this year. So there's a lot of Vision Zero countermeasures, like we are hopefully slowly going towards a 10% reduction in fatal and injury collisions over 5 years. We are now ready to do a refresh of our Vision Zero plan, which is almost 4 years ago. So in 2024, we expect to come with an updated strategic plan, likely to add new emphasis areas. One of them we are talking about is motorcycle collisions. They seem to be a little bit on a disturbing trend, which wasn't the case 5 years ago. So there may be more. The Vision Zero Task Force is a contributing partner to guide us in that regard, including folks from DRPS. As a last slide, we do have the bus rapid transit projects. There's about $79 million in the 2023 proposed program. Much of this is the $60 million that'll go for advancing BRT, which would include Steeple Hill to Meriton and Dixie to Bainbridge, along with 7 median BRT shelters. Expecting some preparatory works this year and actual construction next year. From last year's budget, we are also anticipating advancing the segment in Ajax between Harwood to Galea, and as well from 412 to Des Newman. So we're going to start seeing lots of activity on Highway 2 BRT. So we're hoping to get some of our best inspectors for daily liaison with businesses and others. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Jenny Demani. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. Hopefully I can operate this device properly, which will do it. Okay, thank you. So based on what Ramesh has just shared with us, the Works Department has a lot of projects coming up over the next few years. And in order to deliver those projects and to maintain those assets that are created because of those projects, we need some staffing to help us out with that. So in this budget, we proposed 21.954 FTEs. They are whole positions. Some of our positions in the Works Department are also supporting the water and sewer programs. So that's why you see partial positions in the budget. Out of those 21 positions, 4.3 of those are conversions from temporary resources to permanent. So those are existing resources that are delivering services that the need has not gone away. So we're rather than adding additional resources, we're going to convert those ones into permanent resources. So in our staffing request, we have 19 FTEs that are required for service improvements to existing programs we have operating. 10 of those FTEs are required to support our underground locates program as part of the Ontario One Call legislation. In the depots alone, they do approximately 55,000 locates a year. And when we add in our traffic volumes, it's over 60,000 locates a year. So in order to ensure that we maintain compliance with the legislated timeframes to deliver those locates, 10 new support staff have been required for that. In addition, we have 5 staff that are required to support our growth-related projects. 3 of those staff are in the facilities group, and 2 of those staff are in construction. We also have some staff added into our fleet operation as we're looking at changing our specifications in fleet to move to more climate-friendly modes. We do need someone to work dedicated to update those specifications. In terms of strategic priorities, we have almost 3 FTEs added to our complement. 2 of those are going to be supporting the Rapid Transit Office. One of the FTEs is actually going to be delivering some emergency preparedness coordination in the Works Department. We have someone that does that off the corner of their desk. And I think the last couple of years have shown us that we really do need someone dedicated to help us with that. And then we have a half of an FTE funded out of property tax to support our maintenance management system. That system has over 800 users. It's very new, a lot of demand, so we do need some staff on board to support it. And this graph just shows the increase in our asset base versus the FTEs that support that asset base. And as you can see, the assets have grown in a different proportion than our complement has. We've been able to manage that over the years through efficiencies and innovations, but we are reaching our capacity, so additional staff are required. In terms of risks and uncertainties, I think Gio had touched on quite a few of those in terms of the cost escalations that we're seeing. We're also, like many other departments, the changes from Bill 23 are still something that is being worked through. We are having some challenges in staff recruitment. We do have a push on this year working with our HR department to fill some vacancies, but it's a very competitive market out there, so it does take some time to fill those vacancies. And unpredictable weather, like we saw on Friday evening, it's become more difficult to predict the level of service that we need to provide. We do try to budget our services on the average, and then we add a little bit for the contractual increases, but that is becoming more challenging for us as well. Looking forward, in 2024, the impacts from the 2023 budget will include the annualization of salaries. There'll be about $200,000 when we factor in the recovery. Some of these staff will be charged out to the capital project, so that cost is reflected in those projects. We do still have the uncertainty about inflation. We don't know what that's going to look like in the coming years. Hopefully it stabilizes, and that will be very beneficial to our programs. Growth is always pressure on our budgets. We have to support those assets as well as put them in place for the growing community. And we are looking at a push to modernize our facilities. Some of our depots are over 50 years old. They are definitely not conducive to the way we want to work today. And we're doing that review now to make sure that those depots have a good base to be able to provide services in the future. We also are supporting a lot of other corporate initiatives, including the Durham Region Local Housing Corporation initiatives for their redevelopment, delivering long-term care homes. We are working with the paramedic services on their long-term plan, along with the police services in delivering their stations. We are looking to replace our own fuel management system. I think it's something from 1980. We can certainly improve on that technology and get some efficiencies there. And then our roads, bridges, and our waste management facilities all need some investment to ensure that they have the longevity and are efficient. Again, and in the legislative realm, Bill 23 is another unknown impact to our budget, along with the provincial direction to develop the 1.5 million homes in an expedited manner. We know that means we need infrastructure to support those homes, and we're working through what that actually means. We are looking to expand our Vision Zero countermeasures further. And of course, we're always looking at the ongoing environmental impacts of our operations and ways that we can improve how that impacts the community. And I'll leave it for your questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much to all the directors. We appreciate the effort that went into this and all the projects that we have ongoing. We do have some questions. First one is from Councillor Crawford.
I have a lot. Do you want them all?
What's that?
I have a lot. I was
Okay.
writing them down so I wouldn't forget.
Perfect.
Okay, so in talking about the green bin expansion, which I'm very excited about, I've already talked to a few of the already established condos that we have in Ajax. I've got a couple in my area. Of course, the challenge is space for them, and they are unable to put multi-chutes in at this point, but are willing to look at sections of their garbage storage where it would have to be brought down by the individual people. Their biggest concern, believe it or not, is that the every other week of garbage pickup is hard for them because they get a lot more garbage than that they have to store over 2 weeks than let's say the average household would obviously have. Do we anticipate if they're able to provide space and a program for the green bin, do you think that garbage pickup will reduce? I mean, I would think naturally that would reduce itself, but you're not going to get buy-in likely for everybody right away. Is there any way that we can accommodate that for them? I know with private, obviously going private is a different, is always an option for these locations, except for that the condo people pay their taxes too. So that would
Understood,
increase
yeah.
their fees, right?
Definitely an issue. That's why in the contract, the Ajax collection and Pickering contract, we have added in for the service provider to review each one of those multi-res, see where their issue is, if it's storage, if it's egress, access, anything like that, and to come up with some solutions. Like I said, there could be solutions for underground storage of garbage. We've seen that.
Okay.
Smaller vehicles so that they can get in and out easier. So that's what we're looking for starting in 2024. But the discussion could happen now. We'd be very happy to sit and meet with some of these multi-res because you're right, they do pay for the service, they just don't get it. And that is definitely not fair.
One of the things they also talked about was porcelain pickup. So when they do change around on their units, they have to dispose of the porcelain. They don't get the same kind of pickup that a house would get, which I'm not sure if that's something that we can change, or is that just lack maybe communication that they're not getting right?
Peter, do
Because
we
they would
do-
have a massive amount of porcelain
Yes,
if they were going to do.
Absolutely. So you're getting into the ICI. So that's a contractor who's developed and had to do a very major renovation.
Yeah.
We usually don't support the ICI sector like that. But as far as an individual doing a toilet or a sink, do they have the ability to call that in? So I think it might
Okay.
just be a communication thing, but
So the ICI doing the change would look after the removal
they
of
would
and
they usually
disposal.
put that in their bid as to the disposal of the material,
okay.
and they're
gotcha.
responsible for it. Yeah.
So the other thing I've been investigating is Ajax will have a large amount of infill happening in the very near future. And so one of the things I asked was, can we require these to have the multi-shoots? They're saying we don't have the tools to be able to enforce this. But then how do we expand this program to multi-res if we don't get the buy-in from the developer? I don't know if that's I don't know. I think that might be a conversation that we need to have amongst all of our municipalities
Yes.
is how do we enforce this, because this is what we need to do, right?
Well,
This is
that's
the right
it.
thing to
Yeah.
do.
We have to put the policy in place first, and then it becomes a bylaw, and we would actually review their plans to make sure that they're abiding to the bylaw.
Okay.
If they don't,
Okay,
then they understand they're not getting our service.
right.
But if they do, then they're entitled to the service.
Okay, I understand. That's good.
Okay.
Also, communication for, like, it's coming up fairly soon, like, it's coming
Yes.
up faster than we realize,
is,
right? Because it's
yes.
already almost the middle of March, right? And
Yes.
you're anticipating to have this start beginning of July. So,
Yes.
when we talk about, I guess we have to wait till after the budget, right? But
Yes.
how soon after the budget do we start putting that communication out, especially to already established condominiums so that they can start
Right.
to work through their process?
Right. Okay. We have to watch our timing. You're absolutely correct. The enhanced green bin, we don't want the enhanced green bin moving forward and then all of a sudden contaminating our garbage stream now. So we have to really watch the timing. We're hoping to put the plans together this year and do the communication early next year.
Okay.
So it's clear in their mind what they have to do. But for a multi-res, like I said, we can be sitting down. I know my staff has been sitting down with some of the condo boards, see what their options are.
Okay.
Okay, so that can happen anytime.
Okay.
But what we find with the multi-res, it's usually an individual type thing that the building really wants to do it, or you really have a very eager service manager.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Appreciate that. This is about ASE programming. Is there a will for the region to take over the ASE programs that have been started in municipalities now? I can only speak to Ajax, but is that something that the region would be willing to take over? Are you okay with this line of questioning? Am I off? You're going to call me out of order?
So on this one, again, I'm happy. Let's, Mr. Presser, what do you think?
I don't want to be consuming everyone's time.
No, and some of these might be better offline,
Okay,
but
that will take offline.
I can comment
sure.
if I may, Mr. Chairman. We have talked about this and we've debated about this, not just in the region of Durham, but in other agencies as well. There's a lot of complication in the sense, like it really is a traffic management function. I know DRPS does the speed management function region-wide, but this one has designating a community safety zone. That requires a lot of traffic data collection, approval by a local council. So some of that autonomy may be gone and come to us. So that was the main hesitation. And having said that, what the general sense across the board is, let's let the program run for a few years, and I don't think we are there yet. There is going to be a contract renewal for both the speed cameras and red light cameras. Red light cameras is already a central function, so no difference, right? The other thing about the region taking over speed enforcement, automated speed enforcement for all 9 is there's not a whole lot of economies of scale there. For a red light camera, we run the signals for everyone. Whereas on speed cameras, we'll all be going to the same vendor. For example, Ajax is dealing with the same vendor that we are dealing with. So is Pickering. And if Oshawa was going to go next year, they're going to do the same thing too. So we don't think there's the same effectiveness or efficiencies. Where we may have efficiencies is on the court side, because everything ends up in the regional court system, especially when we go towards the administrative monetary penalty system, which is how the fines are going to be collected moving forward, sometime this year, I think. So there's lots of variables again. I know that it seems like the program has gone for a long time. I think that's because of the success of the program, but it's really only 2 years. A lot of data is not even coming together. It's a long answer because I don't have an answer here, but those are all the considerations to keep in mind.
Okay, stay there for 1 second. Do we ever see this program expanding out to roads that don't have schools on it?
through the Vision Zero Task Force, we will be talking about it there. We are going to be bringing back a report on our Vision Zero progress to date, including this program. What I would like as staff is recommend, put forward a resolution through to the province asking them to get rid of all the constraints of the program. Right now, it can only be done in a community safety zone or school zone. It has to be 70 or less. There's too many constraints, 90 days of signage. If I want to rotate a camera, every time I come back, I need a lot of constraints. So one of the things that we are going to ask for, subject to our approval here, council approval, is let us use it wherever. There's no rules for where DRPS can stand today to enforce speeds. Why do the cameras have to be any different? So that's the logic we are going to go with. Obviously, if committee supports it and council supports it, we'll be one of many participating agencies. A lot of other agencies at staff level, they find it so frustrating to just having to keep moving the signs and closing it and opening it. It just defeats the purpose.
So the staff added for the BRT program, once the BRT is already built and established, what I'm not trying to be delicate. What else? What needs to be maintained through that, or what does staff do once it's actually built out? I realize it's over quite a period of time, so it's not like it's temporary by any means. But once it's already built out and it's established and it's running, do you need to keep continuing to add staff to this program?
The staffing we have to date, as of today, including what's been proposed, is to really advance. I would say about 1/3 of the BRT system on Highway 2. We still have Whitby to go to. We still have Oshawa to go to, which are not our roads either. We are doing a Simcoe corridor visioning, which hopefully will lead into rapid transit, whether it's on road or monorail or whatever. I think there'll be a lot of retirements and turnover to try and swap people around. We do see this at least as a 20-year career for someone who comes in now to do work on BRT and wants to stay with us.
Okay. And the very last thing was the improvement to the road improvement intersections to Brock and Bailey. Yeah. They were proposed when the casino opened. And I'm just wondering, is that still a go? Is that going to happen? As I understood it, it was quite a detailed expansion that needed to be happening there.
Yeah, so this year we've been told, and as you know, Durham Live is their consultant and contractor is going to deliver all this. They're going to be focusing on Squires Beach and Bailey intersection improvements and Westney and Bailey intersection improvements. Okay. Brock and Bailey, they had a lot of struggle. They had some challenges with some property acquisition, which we have heard before. We've been told now they're getting a little more traction on it, thanks to our real estate staff team who have been helping them quite a bit. So I still don't have a timing there, but the project is still in the books. I would say probably for 24, 25, not sure.
Just on a side note, if you don't mind, I wanted to say we have really felt no traffic impact to the casino at all. I mean, my ward is directly beside it, and that's, I think, kudos to the way everything has been handled over the course of time and the gentle opening and everything else, that the community seems to have really not been affected, that I've heard of anyway.
Yeah, we certainly haven't had any complaints from, for example, typically it used to be from Pickering Village and in the vicinity, right?
They've done a very good job at diverting traffic. Anyway, thank you for your leniency. I appreciate that.
No problem at all. Okay, next we've got Chair Henry. Thanks.
Thank you, Chair. So a couple of quick questions, Mr. Jaganathan. Regional Road 18. It will be, it's been about 8 months since the road was finished.
Yeah.
Will we be bringing a report back annually on how this road is doing as part of the test project?
Annually, I would say not in 2023, because we need to go through at least one full seasonal cycle, likely in 2024. And it's also our objective to come back to this committee sometime this year with another 1 or 2 road candidates for rehabilitation using the same technique, obviously, with some changes to the specifications and so on, based on the guidance we have been getting further from MECP. If not annually, I would say biannually.
Okay, thank you. Follow-up question. Highway number 7. Monday, I had to go to York Region for a meeting, and as I drove across the from Durham to York, the Bad Boy facility is being cladded as we speak, so it's just about completely framed in. I know that Kubota and Bad Boy have both been asking for a set of lights on Highway 7 at that intersection. I know we've been working with the province. Have we gotten any response back from them yet?
The last update I got from them was about 6 months ago, and it was imminent at that time. So whatever that meant. So I need to go back to, because like it's really their design, their construction, although, we approve them. I know we approved their design drawings and so on. Honestly, Chairman, I'm a little surprised it's not there yet. So I will check it today.
Yeah, I think with the facility moving along as fast as it can, that is a difficult intersection to turn left at now.
Okay.
Without that Bad Boy facility being open.
Okay.
So thank you for that work. My next questions are to Mr. Anello. Mr. Anello, your team a few years ago did an excellent job at the Blackstock landfill site, and that site has been remediated. I know that there's annual reporting being done to make the ministry happy. How are we doing on that project?
So that project at Blackstock, we are negotiating with the ministry to basically close it out. It still has a landfill designation, but we have done some things, improved some of the snake habitat. So there's been some minor ecological work that's happened there that right now we would consider to be a green site. It takes a while for the contaminants to stabilize, right? So we've removed all the garbage has been removed, but some of the soil was returned as fines, and we're just waiting for that to flush through. So we continue to monitor it to make sure that the actual contamination levels are decreasing and improving the habitat. We have had some inquiries from industry wanting to use it as a parking lot, but we've put in over $1 million there that probably not the best use for it moving forward.
So because, Mr. Chair, this was such a transformative project, one of the first of its kind in all of Canada, I'm wondering, not now, but because budgets are taking all our time, but before summer, if we could get an update on that landfill site to committee, I think would be appreciated, if that's possible, through direction.
Yeah, we could report on the habitats and how they've taken. Yeah.
So that's great. So the other one I want to talk about is the Brock landfill site and transfer station.
Yes.
So Brock was another transformative project, the capping of that
It
landfill.
was, yes.
And I'm wondering where we are on, there was talk of mining that landfill site or doing something else with it. Is there anything happening with that, or are we still working with the neighboring owner?
Well, so Brock right now is not a candidate for landfill mining. We're looking at Scott in Uxbridge.
Okay.
The challenge with Scott and Uxbridge is that it's owned by both the municipality, owned by the region, and then we leased property from the owner and used it for landfill activities. The problem with the Scott landfill is that it's quite a bit bigger than Brock. So the economics now go into it's a net cost. Where Brock was a cost neutral project, Scott will be a net cost to the tune of about $5 million. That opens up all the other alternatives. We could actually buy the adjacent property and manage it as an old landfill, and it basically self-attenuates over the years. But what we're looking at now is finalizing, we've done some studies, finalizing the business case, and then looking at what options are available to us before we come back to committee and council on Scott.
So I apologize, I got the two sites mixed up. So, and the other part too is if the project in Oshawa works well, will we be looking at doing a bio cover on all of our regionally owned landfills?
So that will be a very significant decrease, because right now our old landfills are pretty much number 2 as far as our greenhouse gas generators. If we're able to do that using our compost, using the used sand filter material, make it a very an extensive program for all of our landfills, that would be a big cut in our greenhouse gas generation.
So there are other landfills in Durham Region that are not the responsibility
It's
of
not ours,
the
yeah.
region. Will
Yeah.
we be sharing this technology with those landfill sites with the people who own those lands?
So we do brief the municipalities, the local municipalities. I know Ajax has asked us for some help on some of their landfills, and we're very happy to give them some expertise. But we don't have a budget to take over these landfills or anything like that. But
That's not the intention. To
no,
take them
understood.
over.
To transfer the technology to them,
Yes.
very simple. This would be a matter of just laying compost over top of their landfill, and that will encourage that bacteria to grow and will be the biocover. So it can be that simple.
Do we have enough compost through what we do to supply it to those or those landfill sites?
Well, as our organics program changes, I can't answer that right now because the amount of compost available to us may change. We still have the leaf and yard waste that's available, but you have to recall that the contractors that do that also generate revenues from our compost. They sell it. So whether it would be available or not, or at a cost, we'd have to ask that and investigate that further.
Okay. Those are my questions. Thank you, Chair.
Next, we've got Councillor Nicholson online. Brian, we can't hear you yet.
Can you hear me now?
We can, thank you. Go ahead.
Just a couple of questions. One is a request. If staff could make sure that they send electronically to members of council the presentations that they showed at this meeting, I think that'd be very helpful. Is that possible?
So just in response to that, that was posted on the agenda online, so those slides are there.
Oh, I must have missed that when I was reviewing the budget. My apologies.
No problem.
Second question. The second question I want to ask is really dealing with the Vision Zero program. We don't seem to be increasing its budget very much. And I can tell you in my community, in the southern half of Oshawa, it really is Vision Zero because we can't see it anywhere. There are no structures, there are no cameras, there's simply nothing south of King Street in the city of Oshawa. We have traffic just like every other part of the Durham region. So I'm just wondering why we seem to be hesitant about providing sufficient funding to increase the number of cameras, red light cameras, radar cameras, all types, as the traffic is increasing in all our communities. So I wonder if Ramesh could address that.
Thank you. Through you, Mr. Chairman. The red light cameras and automated speed enforcement cameras, Councillor, are both based on data that we have in terms of speed complaints and so on. So red light cameras, as I had mentioned, we deployed 12 of them. We are not in the proposed budget proposing to expand the number from 12. So that's still to be studied in 2023. So as far as automated speed enforcement cameras are concerned, I don't think it's a budget issue. We are getting 4 more cameras this year, as I mentioned, in 2023, sometime mid-2023. The reason there's probably not a whole lot of cameras no cameras in South Oshawa is they are only eligible for use in community safety zones and school zones. School zones are obvious. They have an access off a regional road. But the community safety zones are really guided by regional council criteria, which looks at the collision history, lack of speed compliance, the seniors population, pedestrian activity, all that gets factored into the definition of community safety zones. Having said that, in 2023, I believe it's referenced somewhere in the budget document, we are planning to come back to this committee and therefore council with a revised set of criteria that would open up the possibly the designation of community safety zones. And as I mentioned, we cannot deploy these cameras in areas that are not community safety zones or less than 70 kilometers per hour posted speed. That's an MTO regulation, which the region and many players across the province are trying to get the province to change so that we could use the camera wherever we want, especially the mobile units.
Well, I do appreciate that, and I know that the staff are working hard on the program. I guess my concern is our response seems to be we have to wait till we have a disaster on our hands, or an accident, or a death, or a speeding problem before we initiate the cameras. I have a number of community safety zones in my community in Ward 5 in Oshawa, but the region seems to disappear on us. As you know, we've talked about the issue about lack of maintenance in the area, but Simcoe Street South going down to Lakeview Park is probably one of the most heavily traveled stretches of road in the city of Oshawa. And it is a community zone now, but we have no cameras. We've got schools and parks all along that stretch of road, but the average speed is well in excess of 70 kilometers an hour. It would seem ideal for a camera, yet it's somehow, because no one yet has been hit, it doesn't meet the criteria. And I guess the problem I'm having is, why do we have to wait till somebody has an accident before we put the cameras in?
Through you, Mr. Chairman, if the segment on Simcoe, and my apologies, I can't visualize that location. If it is designated as a community safety zone today, it would be getting a mobile camera on rotation. Obviously, mobile cameras get rotated every 2 to 3 months, so the frequency may not be there. So I'll have to go and look at it. Like if it is a designated community safety zone, councillor, you should have seen a mobile camera at least once or twice in the last 2 years. So I'll need to look at the exact location. And in addition, there may be community safety zones on local roads, but they are not obviously we don't do speed cameras on local roads. But I will get back to you, councillor.
Well, I appreciate that. You can forgive yourself for not knowing it. The community safety zone was just approved 2 months ago. So it is a new community safety zone.
Okay.
The last question I want to put to you is dealing with the projects on Wentworth Street and Farrell Avenue. This is an industrial area with access to our port. What steps are going to be taken to allow access to continue along those streets if we're going to undertake construction at both Wentworth and Farrell in the same calendar year?
We don't have Wentworth in the same calendar year. Farewell is going to be reconstructed, right, from Harbour up to Bloor. Wentworth is not in the same year. Wentworth, what we are planning to do, and I don't think it was in the budget slides, all we are trying to do is like a low scale, pavement resurfacing on Wentworth from Simcoe to Ritson. Meanwhile, we are designing some major improvements to Wentworth, which is going to try and correct some of the sightline issues that you would know, councillor, between Simcoe and Ritson. But because that would require properties and utilities, we did go ahead and we are going to do a low scale rehab on Wentworth. But Farewell and Wentworth, even if there's any overlapping due to the small scale rehab, it's going to be very minor.
Thank you. Those are my questions. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much, Councillor. Next, I don't see any other committee members for questions, but we do have Mayor Foster. Any questions from committee? Okay, go ahead, Mayor Foster. Oh, and he was there a second ago, but He has since dropped off. Oh, he's back. Let's see. Go ahead, Mayor. Adrian, we can't hear you yet. Okay, let's try it again. You may have to unmute. Any advice, sir? Oh, and he's gone again. All right, and he's back. Go ahead. Mayor Foster, you're on our screen, and you're okay. Do you want to try and log off and log back on, or ask right now? Okay. All right. So let's continue on. We don't have any active questions. Oh, we have one from Councillor McDougall. Oh, actually, we'll go Steve Yamada first because he is a member of the committee. Go ahead, Councillor Yamada.
Sorry, Mr. Chair, I did think we were done the questions and moving on to delegations. I did want to move, I know there's a member of the public in chambers right now, so when delegations do come, I do want to move that the resident have an opportunity to speak.
Okay. Yeah, Councillor, we'll go back to you if you don't mind. You can request to speak again, and we'll go to questions from Councillor McDougall, and we'll try again with Mayor Foster. Go ahead, Councillor McDougall.
Hi, I'm kind of new. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, I'm just getting used to the app on the phone and have had quite the struggles this morning. So thank you. Thanks for the bits of the presentation that I caught. I really appreciate all the hard work that everybody in Works is doing. I do have a few questions, and this morning my questions particularly pertain to around the road improvement projects that there's for selling. My question is there any given to the start and end points of those actions in terms of, are they, so for example, I think there was a section done north of Port Perry, and it stopped short of Seagrave by probably about 800 meters, which would be a relatively small generator of traffic, but it is a generator itself.
So, Ramesh, I had a pre-discussion with Councillor McDougall before. Did you understand the question? Okay. And Councillor McDougall, you were just breaking up a little bit, so I'm going to be your interpreter, if you don't mind. His question is in regards to roads projects that end.
Thank you, sir.
End premature, end before an intersection. So he was talking about Simcoe north of Seagrave. It ends before kind of a key intersection, about 800 meters before that.
Okay.
And then if you're talking about cycling infrastructure, those gaps become dangerous. And he and I spoke about one that's on our agenda today, and that is between Webb Road and Albright. That's a key connector. And again, we're not going to complete that connection. So is that clear now?
It is, but I'm trying to visualize. So this is a rehab project, and the request is to consider extending it another 800 meters to close a cycling gap. It really depends on the pavement condition. Like, there's probably a reason that you're stopping there. So it's a hard question to answer on my feet, but I'll certainly look at it. So there could be two choices. One is to extend the rehab segment depending on where the design is and the tender status is. Or maybe it's just like doing the paved shoulder if there's no drainage impacts and so on. That would require us to go back to the drawing board to do the redesign. But either way, if it's okay, I will get in touch with the councillor after the meeting and I can try and see what can be done.
Thank you very much. Do you have any other questions, Councillor McDougall?
I do, through you, Mr. Chair. Thank you very much. Perhaps for a better clarification on that, the question really is in future planning of rehab projects, when we're going to list it as a bonus for cycling, which is a feel-good thing, rather than a tractor lane or a paved shoulder for extending pavement life, if we're going to list it and claim that it's for cycling, can we consider our start and end points of our rehab project such that it's actually a bonus for cycling, not just listed in this report as a bonus for cycling? It's you, Mr. Chair.
Through you, Chairman, Councillor, there are two types of paved shoulders we are talking about, and I need to go back to my slides to see if this segment is on the cycling network. So I want to distinguish when we say paved shoulders. If it's on a regional cycling network, it's typically about 2.5 meters wide. Whether it's a multi-use path or a paved shoulder. But the other type of paved shoulder I'm talking about is really an asset management principle. In fact, we would not even, because from a climate change perspective, the TMP recommended anytime you go do a rehab, add another 1.5 meters of paved shoulders, not necessarily for cycling, for an asset management practice, but in fact, it would help provide better refuge for cyclists and a buffer separation from vehicles, right? But we still would not sign it as a cycling route because 1.5 meters would not be a designated cycling route. I need to recall whether Simcoe at this location is on the cycling network. Otherwise, it's just a 1.5 meter paved shoulder and it's not a cycling facility, although cyclists would get more comfort driving here or riding here. Again, I think an offline conversation, you might clarify this more, but that's just a high-level response I'm able to give now.
Certainly, thank you. No, I'm just asking for the consideration for all of these projects when you're considering them and listing them as a cycling infrastructure project.
Sorry.
The future consideration is that it goes from point to point, driver to driver, not from 300 meters south of the Albrights intersection, where a cyclist was killed several years, or I think about a decade ago. I think that's all my questions at this point in time. Thanks.
Hey, thanks, Councillor. And let's have an offline meeting to discuss this,
Sure.
kind of for best practices. I know Councillor McDougall is passionate on this subject.
Okay.
And it certainly affects all of us. All right, and next we've got Councillor Wu.
Yeah, good morning, and thank you, Chair Barton, and to Ramesh. And I'm just going back to the one on the capital project, Taunton Road, Regional Road 4, Bougainville Avenue, roundabout. Now, I'm assuming somewhere down the road, and just as you mentioned about the BRT, bringing somebody on that can look maybe 20 years down the road, but the roundabout right now, are we looking at that? Will that be built in some ways that maybe one of these days, Taunton Road may be 4 lanes through that area? Right now it isn't. And my second question to that is the detours when that comes about, that the construction, because I know it wasn't a roundabout, but I know there were some difficulties at Town Line and Taunton, that construction and the detours that one had to take to get around that intersection.
Through you, Chairman, to the Councillor, two comments I would make to that, Councillor Wu. One is the roundabout is only based on a 2-lane road, because the 4-lane road is not in our 10-year forecast. It's very unlikely we would have accommodated the ultimate 4-lane section. And in terms of detours, as you can see from the presentation, the detailed design is still in its early stage for completion later this year, end of the year, and we are usually in very active consultations with Stephen Brake and others in Clarington to make sure something works mutually, including mitigation measures on local roads that may take a harder hit, but doesn't have as much neighborhood impact. So all that gets into consideration when we plan the detours. So that will happen actively, and certainly, Clarington staff will be involved.
Okay. No, thank you very much, and that's my question. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks, Councillor Wu. Looks like you've warmed up from your your event last week. Okay, next we've got Vice Chairman Pietri.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I appreciate the presentation on the budget. I just wanted to ask if we could just get a little bit of context when it comes to some of the facilities that we're going to be improving, in particular the depots. Just wondering if there are any synergies that we're seeking from other facilities that we're building within the region, and whether they're actively being pursued. For example, we have a bus terminal that we're building. Are we looking to add to the bus terminal, or is this a project where we're going to be engaging in standalone facilities? Or, you know, the existing depots, are they going to be expanded? I just wanted to gather a little bit more information so that there's some context in terms of how we budget that.
Yeah, we completed a depot rationalization study last year that looked at all our 5 depots and their current state of the art and the future needs given the growth and so on. And that depot rationalization study concluded that Ajax is in need for more space in terms of wash bays and storage bays and, you know, admin building expansion and so on. So that obviously is happening on the same site. We may have some intersection modifications where we have access onto the Salem Road, like north of Taunton. So that's Ajax. And then the study also concluded that both Oshawa and Sunderland requires major expansions and they're not in the right locations. Oshawa, for example, ideally it would be further east. Similarly, Sunderland, like, in the vicinity of Sunderland, both in terms of more space. What we have in the 2023 budget ask, in addition to the Ajax design for the expansions, is property acquisition for the 2 Oshawa and Sunderland depots. And as we start the property search, it is our intention, and Ms. D'Emanuel can probably elaborate if you wish, to engage the local municipalities, our own, other regional departments, for opportunities for synergies, co-locations, co-leasing, whatever might be in the best interest of, I suppose, the regional taxpayer.
Okay, I appreciate that. I'm still getting used to the technology in general. I wanted to thank you because the follow-up question would be, what are we going to do with decommissioning the other facilities in terms of acquisition? That's one thing, but we obviously have an Oshawa Whitby depot. Property values in and around most of our depots have increased significantly.
Yeah.
So have we taken a look at what decommissioning and what calculating maybe some of what they refer to the uplift would be in terms of being able to offset the costs? What are we looking at in that particular case? Are we going to retain the asset, or are we going to divest of that asset or add to it?
Yeah, I'll need to refer that to Ms. D'Emanuel, please.
Thank you.
Thank you. When we have a regional asset that we no longer have a need for, we do circulate those assets through the local municipalities as part of our disposal process. So once we're further along with the relocation of the Oshawa Whitby depot in particular, we'll look at that entire site to determine what our future needs are for that, and then that's when we'll make our decision about what we'll do with the existing facility.
Yeah, and just looking at the Oshawa Whitby depot, that circulating that to us probably wouldn't help. But I understand what you mean. It may help Whitby, but it's not on the Oshawa side. Although there could be an opportunity there for the other municipalities. But I appreciate that. And if there's not, we're going to have probably an in-house service that takes a look at what the values of those properties are, because I think when we divest, we have to divest of the property free and clear in terms of environmental implications or considerations. That's going to be part of the process as well.
Well, we will know what the conditions are
Sure.
on that site, but we will, if we have no regional interest, no local interest, no agency interest, then we will sell the property on the open market in as-is condition.
Okay. All right. I appreciate that very much through you, Mr. Chair, to the Commissioner and the staff, directors. I appreciate being able to ask questions. I know that we'll have some more moving forward into the budget, but for now, that concludes my questions. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Vice Chair. And thanks to all the staff for their openness today. Appreciate it. All right. Next, we're going to step back to 3.1. These are the minutes from February the 8th. Someone want to move that? Oh, Chair Henry. And we do second, right? And seconded by Councillor Crawford. Okay, all in favor? Okay, that's carried. Okay, Councillor Yamada, do you want to? There we go.
Mr. Chair, I did want to move a motion to ask that the residents have the opportunity to speak.
Okay, so we have one resident. I don't even know if we have his name yet. Go ahead.
Is it Blair Dyson?
Okay, so just for committee, I believe Mr. Dyson. Actually, why don't you speak to it, Steve?
Well, I know Mr. Dyson and other residents want to see regional road fences be included in this year's budget. I know as costs increase, these have become bigger costs for residents to incur. So I know Mr. Dyson is here to speak on that, on an amendment that I'll be moving later on in this meeting.
Okay, let's see if we can get a seconder to have to put this on the floor. Second by Councillor Makahi. Thanks. You have to speak more often in a meeting so that I've got your name at the top of my head. Thanks, Rhonda. All right, we will need 2/3 on this. Yeah, we do. So let's go for a recorded vote just so that that's very obvious here.
I haven't started yet.
We haven't started yet.
So the vote is now open.
Did you get me? Okay, so that passes unanimously. So just step forward, sir, and then you can be heard. Thanks for coming in.
My name is Blair Dyson. I forgot my glasses today too. I've been asked to come and speak to you about the condition and replacement of fences along regional roads. I've been a Durham Region resident for over 40 years. I've lived in my current residence since 1987. I live on Morning Glory Crescent. My property backs onto Roslyn Road East in Whitby. In 1988, the region erected a fence between my property and the region's property on the boulevard of Roslyn Road. Approximately 5 years later, the fence was painted, and since then there has been no maintenance done on that specific fence. The expected lifetime of a fence is considered 20 to 25 years. This fence is now 35 years old. The condition of the fence now would be considered poor at best. Some homeowners have taken to replacing single fence boards. Some have replaced the whole fence, which does not match the existing fence in quality or looks. And some have just taken to propping up the fence with more wood. Either solution does not give Durham Region a good look. There is a little more than 100 feet of fence between my property and the region's property. I would imagine that this would cost quite a few $1,000s to replace our fence. And if I had to foot the whole bill to replace this fence, I would surely put the good side towards my property and the not so good side towards the region's property. This is what some of the residents have already done. I would suggest that if any of the councillors are driving through Scarborough, have a look at the fencing, where for many years now they have left the residents in charge of fence replacements. It is not a good look. Every resident has a different idea of what a nice fence looks like. Some are wood, some are stone, some are chain link, and some are the cheapest they can find or afford, made from old skids, used wood, and some do nothing. But it does not lead to an area with a good look. I would suggest that it is in the best interest of the region to solve this fence issue before it becomes a big problem. Some of the region's fences still have a good look, but once the residents start replacing fences because the region will not, that look will quickly go away. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Are there any questions for the delegation? Okay, seeing and hearing none, let's move on to reports. So we've got reports 8.2A through D. Say again? And let's do one at a time. My left ear told me that that was a good idea. Let's start with 8.2A. Move it, Councillor Makahi. Any seconders? Seconded by Chair Henry. Any questions or comments on that report? Okay, seeing and hearing none, all in favor? Okay, that's carried. We still have quorum? Okay, great. Okay, next, let's go with 8.2B. This is, okay, perfect. Report 2023 W11. Moved by Councillor Crawford, seconded by Chair Henry. Questions, comments? All in favor? That's carried. All right, next we are 8.2C. This is report number 2023 W12. Move it by Councillor Makahi, seconded by Councillor Crawford. Questions? Do you want to do a request to speak? Excellent, thanks. Okay, go ahead.
Thank you. I'm just pulling this. This is a big project for Whitby. We're pretty excited about it. So just a quick question. Have we timelines? Are we on track as far as timelines go for this project?
Go ahead.
Through the chair, this project, as mentioned in the report, is delivered by the developer who's building the mid-arterial roadway. So I don't have exactly what, but with his intent of signing the agreement and bringing this report forward, it is an active project that he's proceeding.
So
but we can follow up with staff on the exact timing.
Thank you. I'd appreciate that. Thank you.
All right, I don't see any additional requests to speak. So all in favor? And that's carried. Thank you. Okay, we are now to 8.2D. This is report number 2023 W13, and it's our business plans and budget for 2023. All right, so moved by Councillor Crawford, seconded by Councillor Makahi, and then questions. Councillor Crawford, question? All right, are there any questions to this report? Seeing and hearing none? Oh, Councillor Yamada. Go ahead, Councillor.
Thank you. I want to move an amendment that the Works Committee recommends to Regional Council a complete cost report and policy to implement the permanent maintenance of noise attunement fencing along all regional roads, and that a 1% property tax increase be implemented over two budgets, 2023 and 2024, to begin the project or program.
Okay, so first we need a seconder to get that on the floor. Seconded by Councillor Makahi. And a request to speak by Chair Henry.
Question, Chair. This is a significant amendment to a budget. Without knowing the financial costs and trying to pre-exempt and put money into a budget that's already difficult, I'm uncomfortable with that. I also believe that it's a standalone motion separate from the budget. I'll ask the clerk to comment.
Okay, is this in order?
It's substantive.
Yeah.
First, I would ask if Councillor Mata, you can send that in writing. I caught most of it, but not everything. I believe it would be in order, but it's, again, up to the committee whether it's approved or not. And this would also then go to Finance and Administration on March 21st for consideration before being included into the full budget.
Chair Henry, do you have any additional comments?
Well, so I'm worrisome, that you're adding 1% to our budget that will be in our permanent base budget, that will be there every year from now into the future. I have no idea what the costs are. We're talking about all regional roads, including agricultural communities. That is hundreds and hundreds of kilometers of regional roads. And I am concerned that I would need a report. I'm not supportive of putting money into a budget that I have no idea where it's going. And I still think that, Mr. Chair, that being such a substantive budget item, while it's referred to the budget, without the research from staff, I'm uncomfortable with this. And there's no doubt that work has to be done, but we're talking 1% of this year's budget is, I'm going to go to staff, is $9 million.
Just a clarification, it was over 2 years, and I sent Sarah the motion.
So
it'd be 0.5%.
So even at 0.5%, that's 0.5% over 2 years, which is 1%, which is a permanent add-in to the base budget for the region.
I realize that, Chair.
And there again, without having the detail and not understanding the implications of the financing of this, and recognizing that there are more roads in the region than I think members of council are aware of. Mr. Jagannathan, how many kilometers of regional roads are there?
800 and something, about 900 kilometers, Chairman.
900 kilometers of regional roads? This is a significant motion, and I want members of council to be aware of that. If anything, I would prefer it not to come to this budget, but to be reverted to staff to bring back a report at another time. Adding money into the budget at this time on such late notice on something that's so significant, I'm struggling with that.
Mr. Chair, that was my request last month at committee when the regional fences were discussed in a report. When I asked for a further report asking for cost implications, it was denied by committee, where staff indicated the cost of being $100 million to replace all the fences. And so when I asked for more information, they indicated that all the information needed had been provided. So I am moving forward with this motion here today.
So just for clarification, Councillor Yamada just referenced $100 million. Is that correct?
That is what I believe he just referenced.
So this motion is to cover $100 million worth of work. Now, okay, is that including our rural agricultural communities? So you can see the struggle with this. I've spoken enough. I will let members of council, committee members that are here and online speak to this.
Okay, next we've got Vice Chair. Go ahead.
Mr. Chair, through you, I agree with the chair in that the work has to be done, but we have to be very careful in terms of the way that the policy potentially could be written. So I'm all for looking at it, but I would prefer to see any motion come forward with a request for options to pay for this, as opposed to we're going to do it through an X amount of budget increase. And I'll tell you why, because there's, in my mind, if you take your municipality, for example, you may not have the same considerations as we do in ours. And maybe if you include, as the chair said, some of the rural fences, you will. But I don't think that that's what we're speaking about here. So I wouldn't want to implicate, say, for example, Uxbridge in something that would otherwise benefit Oshawa, and then have that conversation lead to something where we're not going to be fruitful in what we're trying to attempt, both in cost and expectation. So in this case, if we were to have something come forward in the form of a report that said, here's what the implications are, here are what your funding options are, I think that would be more fruitful because we're, as the chair said, at some point, someone is going to have to do the work. So whether it's our responsibility or a shared responsibility or one that just remains the same in terms of status quo, that's up to council. Because I do respect the mover of the motion and the seconder and their intent, and I know that the chair does as well. But I'm not comfortable moving forward in this capacity, even though the motion is in order. I just think it would be prudent for us to do something that was more comprehensive before, acting on the policy.
Okay, thank you very, very much, Vice Chair. We have Councillor Yamada.
Thank
Councillor?
you, Chair. Through you to staff. Now, because the report had been brought forward last month, if I were to bring a motion forward next month, would I need reconsideration?
Just a moment, Councillor. Just referring with staff. This motion is very similar to the one you already submitted, right?
I wouldn't say similar. What I was asking for last month in my amendment was a costing and how we'd be able to implement a program like this.
Okay. Just hold on. Go ahead, Vice Chair.
Can I ask procedurally, if this motion, say for example, this motion fails, are we able to reconsider at committee the previous recommendation to have a report or motion to have a report? Or did that go to council and get defeated or dealt with there? I'm just wondering because I think that maybe there is an opportunity to take a look at reporting if this fails, but I wouldn't want it, to be considered the same motion then.
Okay. So I'm going to go ahead, Chair Henry.
The
Speak.
CAO is on the line if you'd like Elaine to comment.
Okay. Can we have the CAO comment, please?
Good morning, everybody. I hope you can hear me. As the chairman mentioned, this is an enormous ask in terms of the impact on the property tax base. I think at the very least, staff would have to go back and look at models and approaches in other jurisdictions, develop the appropriate policy, look at what the total financial impact would be and options for financing it. It all has to be balanced against other regional priorities, which we know, as you've seen through the transit and paramedics master plan, are putting tremendous pressures on our budget. So I really would strongly support Councillor Marin Pietri in that it's something staff needs to take away, report back on. And I will say right now, it's not the kind of report that can be turned around in a month or so. It will take a fair amount of assessment and analysis.
Hey, thank you very much. We appreciate that perspective. So I believe the motion or amendment is in order. I think we should probably vote on it, but then see to move forward after that. Go ahead, Chair. Oh, your mic's not. Can you hit a request?
Thank you. Not seeing, first of all, members of the committee and councillors that are online need to see the amendment in writing before us.
Okay, we'll put that on the screen.
I have comment after I can read it.
Okay. And Councillor Yamada, I know you have a request in, but I'm going to speak to it while we're waiting for that to get on the screen. I can't, there might be a couple different locations where this makes sense for Uxbridge, but very, very few. I think from certainly if it's on all regional roads, it'll be a major issue for our agricultural community. They will not want it. It won't fit for most of it. This cost is enormous. And to put this in, to attempt to put it into the budget, I think is inappropriate at this point. So I won't be supporting this motion. But we do now have it on our screen.
So, Chair, to help you, I'm going to put ask for division.
I don't know if we just, again,
So what the intent of what I'm trying to do is I absolutely support the report coming back from staff. However, in that 1% tax increase be implemented over 2 budget periods, that part be removed. So if you wanted in an amendment, we put a period after on all regional roads.
just a second, Mr. Chair. I like what you're doing, but I don't think it's in order. I think we have an amendment that's moved and seconded. But let me listen to the clerk for a second.
Yeah, so if you rephrase it as an amendment to an amendment.
Oh, okay. So we have the chair would like to amend the amendment.
Yep, and that would be to put a period after the word roads, and that would be to delete, and that 1% property tax be implemented over the 2 budget years. I don't think it's fair to put the amount, and to speak to that, and I'll need a seconder.
We got one from the vice chair.
Okay, and to speak to that, the work has to be done before you can put a price tag on it. And you know, I'm scared by the amount that Councillor Yamada has put forward, stating $100 million. Mr. Chair, we're struggling now to meet the needs of the region, from opiates to homelessness to mental health to regional roads to the 200% increase in water treatment plants. I don't disagree with the intent of what's happening. I disagree with it coming this close to the budget being finalized. So I will not support the motion as it is. I will support the motion if the amendment passes.
Okay. So do we have anyone else who wants to speak to the amendment to the amendment? Okay, Councillor Mulcahy. Go ahead.
Thank you. I will support the amendment to the amendment. This makes sense. I really would have liked to have been able to, see that the report would have been supported at the last committee meeting, because I think that was what was being asked for. So here we are again. But with respect, I'm way more comfortable with this. I would prefer to not put a price tag on it, because I think that there's many different ways that we can look at accommodating some of the concerns that, like Mr. Dyson presented, and also still respect the fact that there's more than the Lakeshore municipalities involved. So I'm very comfortable with this amendment to the amendment. Thank you.
Okay. Now I think Councillor Yamada wants to speak to the amendment to the amendment. So let's see. Go ahead, Councillor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I want to see this project get going. I'm not, just to clarify, I'm not asking for $100 million in the 2023 budget. I think that is an unfair statement to suggest. When I hear staff talk sort of out of both sides of their mouth from last committee meeting to this committee meeting, it is sort of disheartening, because staff told me at that last committee meeting, when I made the motion, that all the information was there. There was no further information to go out and find. So I'm bringing this motion forward here today. I am asking to gain the support of committee. I won't be supporting the amendment to the amendment, but if this amendment passes, I still will be supporting the motion, the amended motion, because something has to be done for these residents. It's unfair, and I invite any resident to come stand in a backyard of a resident living on Roslyn Road and listen to the noise that they have to deal with. And I would suggest that many of us, if not all of us, don't don't live in those situations. So to hear what our residents are living through with all the construction that is going on in Durham Region and the growth, I think it's only fair that we give our residents the opportunity and peace of mind to enjoy part of their backyard. Thank you.
Okay, so on the amendment to the amendment, I'm gonna call the vote here. Okay, all in favor? Okay, so that's carried. Now so let's take away just a second. Yeah, we just need to separate this. Okay, that looks, it's still Councillor Yamada, I think. Just hold on, folks.
Well,
Okay, before we go to our speakers, to the clerk. Oh, good. So that we've already done that. So C is void. All right. And now we're back to the amendment. Now, I think the chair might have another amendment to the amendment. Oh, just a second. Go ahead, Chair.
Chair, this is such a substantive item that to give staff direction would not be appropriate. We need, or to have them take it on themselves. I would like to refer this back to staff to bring a report back at their first opportunity. So we're in budget season now. This will take a while to pull this information together and to bring it back to this committee.
So I think in order to do that, I think if you can just refer the whole thing. I was thinking if we just change it to regional council to staff, that would do this. But
We can refer it back to staff in committee.
Okay.
And to bring back a substantive report. It is a substantive report.
Okay. So seconded by Vice Chair Mayor Pietri. Now we do have two speakers. I don't know if it's on the amendment to the amendment. Why don't we get only people who want to speak to the amendment to the amendment? The referral motion, sorry. Keep your hands up. All right, so next I'll go to Councillor Nicholson. Go ahead, Councillor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I will not be supporting the referral, not because I support the putting up of the fences, as I think it's asking for a lot of work of our staff for a project that I think will have a hard time getting any regional support beyond a few communities. In my community, I read the motion as to say that a permanent maintenance of noise attenuation fences along regional roads. Where I have problems with noise attenuation isn't along regional roads. It's along provincial highways and rail lines. If we're going to look at noise retention policies on regional roads, then we have to look at those particular policies, well, how we deal with the backyards being impacted by those facilities. As for regional roads in my community, I don't think there's a regional road in Ward 5 in Oshawa that could get a noise retention fence because the houses are 20 feet from the road and you'd literally be going right through the person's front yard. So I just, on principle, I respect Councillor Yamada for approaching this issue. I know he's advocating for his constituents, and I will never object to that. But for my constituents, you're asking us to pay for a very expensive project that we can never use any benefit from, and I will be opposing it in its entirety. Thank you.
Okay. Are there anyone else want to speak on this? Vice Chair, go ahead. Oh, thanks.
Yeah, well, I think I would feel badly referring it to staff if it wasn't already, proposed at one point for us to take a look at. I think that there's a willingness to look at it, and there's also a need because we need to know what we're up against. Because I don't think that this issue will go away. It'll come back. So if the taxpayer knows what it means, and the municipalities know what the impacts or the implications are, then I think at least we can refer to that in future. So I'm hoping that we can move the referral and in the least have that for future reference. Because again, it's up to the committee and then it's up to the council to decide. There could be an opportunity there, maybe through some of the funding that we receive from provincial or federal levels and gas tax money. I don't know that. There could be an option of cost sharing. I don't know that either. There could just be a willingness on council to say, well, we're going to do it, and I don't know if that's there either. So I think a report, the referral, as moved by the chair, is probably the most prudent, and it offers the municipalities that have these issues or these challenges and the movers of the motion that ability to be able to let the residents know that we're looking into it and it's being done in a comprehensive way.
Okay, thank you very much. And we'll go back to Councillor Yamada before we vote. Councillor, go ahead.
Just a point of, thank you, Chair. So just a point of clarification, the wording would be Works Committee recommends to staff a complete cost report.
So that's what I thought. It's basically where this goes, but we are sending this back to staff to produce more information. So it basically does the same thing, Councillor Yamada.
Right.
It just, we didn't amend it.
And I'll ask for a recorded vote at the appropriate time.
Okay, sounds good. And I think the appropriate time is now. There's no other questions, so all in favor? And recorded vote.
So there's a half-second delay, so just give it half a second once I start it. And this is a recorded vote on the referral of the amendment back to staff.
Okay, so that's carried. All right, so thank you very much. Oh, okay. So now I'll call the vote on the report. On the main item, on the budget. Okay, all in favor? Okay, that's carried. Thank you very much, folks. And next, we are into other business, and I think Councillor Crawford has the floor. And I think somebody has to push the green button. Go ahead.
So this is the report for Vision Zero. I unfortunately was not able to be at the Vision Zero meeting. I had budget. So this would have been the 43rd meeting of the Durham Vision Zero Task Force, of which I think I have attended 38 of. During the election was a little bit dicey there. The next meeting is March 16th. We had, unfortunately, very sadly, one fatal collision in Durham Region since the last Works Committee. It happened on Saturday, February the 11th in my town at Salem Road north of Roslyn Road, and it cost a young man his life. So that is very sad. This brings our total fatal collision report to year to date as 2, which is the same as last year. The latest red light camera data available from January 2023 shows 145 red light running charges laid, which is lower than our average of 208, which is good news. A significant number of speeding tickets, including stunt driving charges, are being issued by DRPS and caught through our automated speed enforcement programs, which, when you think about it, those are community safety zones, and we're getting stunt driving through those community safety zones, which is frightening at best. We have a significant, the Vision Zero Task Force discussed the updated community safety zone policy and subsequent new locations to be deployed in 2023. And I assume those are still in the school zone, Ramesh, with that? Yeah, still. And task force discussed scuba safety and the need to remind drivers on the requirement to stop when the school bus lights are flashing, regardless of the number of lanes on the road. And that would be in both directions. So that is the report.
Hey, thank you very much. I appreciate the report and your passion on this project. All right, is there any other business? Seeing and hearing none. Our next meeting is April the 5th at 9:30, and I believe a motion to adjourn is in order. Okay, Councillor Marin Pietri, Chair Henry. All in favor? That's carried. Thanks, folks.